Okay, so the comparative compares between two things. And the superlative describes the most of something. Okay, the most, the top. Okay, which one is the top of that, of a category? The most intelligent, the most beautiful, the cheapest, the tallest, the happiest. Okay, that is the superlative. So these words can help us compare, super. Okay, comparative, superlative. Okay, now I will show you a chart. The next chart, it's very big for you to write it down. So I will ask you to take a photo and you can copy that on your notebook later, okay? Ah, sorry. I clicked on the wrong button. This chart. This is a very big chart, okay?
Okay, teacher.
Yes? Now, in this chart, I explain you how to make a comparative, an adjective, a comparative, and have to make an adjective into a superlative. Okay? So, this is very easy. When we have short adjectives, we add er for the comparative. Okay? Like large. What are short adjectives? Short adjectives are adjectives with one syllable. Do you know how in Spanish we split the words in syllables? Where in English we also have syllables. So the words that have one syllable are short words, in this case, short adjectives. So when they have one syllable, when it is a one syllable adjective like large, when we make the comparative, we add er at the end. So instead, so instead of, sorry, so instead of being large, now it would be the comparative form will be larger, larger than. Okay. And here we use two objects to compare. For example, dino is larger than a
Elephant.
lion or elephant, for example. Okay, a dino is larger than a lion, or a dino is larger than an elephant. Okay. We use noun, adjective, noun. Let me write it here. We start with a noun and the verb to be. Noun and the verb to be. And then we complete with another noun. That is how we make a comparative sentence. Noun, verb to be, comparative, another noun. A dino is larger than a lion. And the superlative, when we make the adjective a superlative, instead of adding er, we add est. And we use the article the, because the means one, like the one. So in this case, we will say that the dino is the largest animal. And then we have our superlative. The dino is the largest animal. Okay. Now, in this case, we use the noun, the verb to be, and the group that we are talking about. And then we also have CVC adjective. These are also short adjectives because they are short. They are really short. They only have a consonant, a vowel, and a consonant. So yes, we add ER in the comparative, but we also double the last consonant. For example, big, the last consonant is G, so we write it again. Another G, ER, bigger, bigger than. So in this case, we can say that an elephant is bigger than
A mouse.
a mouse. Exactly. An elephant is bigger than a mouse. Of course, you have an elephant and a mouse. Well, the elephant is bigger. But do you know which animal is the biggest of all the animals? That's when we use the superlative. The superlative, it's the same. When we have a CVC adjective, a consonant, vowel, consonant, adjective like big, we also double the last consonant and then we add EST. For example, here we have biggest, big, double consonant G, and then we are EST. So in this case, we will say that the blue whale is the biggest animal in the world. And here we are not comparing. We are saying that that the blue whale is the biggest animal of all the animals. Okay, the blue whale is the biggest animal in the world. This is the super of all the animals. Okay, so that is consonant, vowel, consonant, adjectives. We double the last consonant and we add ER in comparative, EST in superlative. Now, when we have adjectives that end in Y, like pretty, happy, what else? Pretty, happy. I only have those in my mind.
Angry. Teacher.
Angry, very good. Angry, hungry. When we have all of those adjectives that end in Y, if you see the adjective, it ends in Y, like pretty, we are going to change the letter Y for I and add ER to make the comparative. Instead of pretty, would be prettier. Okay? So let's see. Regina, do you want to say something? The ocean is prettier than the river, for example. The ocean is prettier than the river. And when we make a superlative, when we want to say with an adjective that ends in Y, that something is the super, we change again the Y, but now we add EST. So in this case, we would say that something that is the prettiest. Yes, it can be. The donkey is the prettiest animal for example. And now we know that is the super of all the animals, is the prettiest in this category. Okay, when we have adjectives with 2 syllables. Sometimes we can add ER, but I recommend you to use the words more, okay? More or less. When you have 2 syllables, you can use both. You can add ER or EST, gentler than or the gentlest, to make the comparatives and the superlatives. And also, when you have 3 or more syllables, instead, I made a mistake here. Instead of writing, instead of adding ER at the end of the adjective, we are going to use the words less for a few, less for a few, and and more for many, okay? More beautiful than. If you notice, beautiful, the adjective doesn't have ER. The adjective stays the same. And I use the word more at the beginning. More beautiful. That's how I make the comparative. Or if you are describing something that is fewer, we use less. Less beautiful than. Okay? It depends on the situation if you are going to use more or less. Okay? Now the next one. And for the superlative, we use most or least. The most beautiful or the least beautiful. Okay? And we also have irregular adjectives like good, bad, little, and far. Okay? So these are the ones that you need to remember, that you need to memorize. The irregular. Okay? For example, good. The comparative form of good is better, and the superlative is the best. The comparative form of bad is the worst, and the superlative is the worst. The comparative form of little is less, and the superlative is least. And the comparative form of far is farther or further, and the superlative is farthest or furthest. Okay? And now here we have this part that I was telling you before. When we use as, adjective, as pretty as large as big as, we use this to describe two objects that compare as the same, okay? They are at the same level. None of the two objects is more or less than the other. They are the same. And when we use it in the negative form, not as, in the adjective, as, not as pretty as, not as beautiful as, not as big as. Here we use it to compare two objects, to know which object is more than the other, okay? So in the affirmative form, we say that they are in the same level. In the negative form, we compare, okay?